We are amateur comedians. Tim McDonald is the real thing, and he joins us now. Cheap Seats tonight on Channel 10. Tim, welcome to Breakfast with Vossy and Brandy.
Hey, Vossy. Hey, Brandy. Thank you so much for having me, and sorry to give your listeners PTSD. We don't want to hear those press conferences ever again.
Hey, listen, among your qualifications too, we should mention too in the intro, co-host of the Reserve Drivers podcast, the podcast Comedic Take on Formula One. We'll get to that in a moment. I'm going to ask a question straight up because Brandy and I get paid pretty much to talk dribble 5 days a week. We unashamedly say that. Bit like that for you, you can just make stuff up and get paid for it, Tim.
Totally, and some very exciting news for Channel 10 yesterday, boys. The minimum wage was increased, so it is good news for Channel 10 hosts. I'm actually coming to you live from the wonderful country of Namibia. I don't know if you know it. It's a wonderful region, and just a quick question, boys. In this time slot, can we say the phrase "ducks nuts"? Are we allowed to say that?
You can.
Well,
yes, you can.
Well, you can in our show.
It's been said.
Anything
Yes.
goes. Yes.
The Nambians, they're quite fighters. We've respected the Nambians for a long time now, Tim, and what they can do on the cricket field. Our favourites. Just now, we heard a little bit of the, what you talk about in the show, but just every night you get there and you go, okay, what are we chatting? Like what? Just give us a synopsis of the show.
Do you know what it is? It's basically, so we discovered that there is so much news out there that wouldn't it be great if there was a show that could sit down and watch it all and just bring you the highlights, just the best bits. So that is literally what we do. So Mel and I, we watch everything. We watch from 9 News Sydney all the way down to 7 News Tasmania. We've even got someone on the team who has to sit through Sunrise. But we do it so that we can bring you an hour of just the best bits.
Wow.
Just an hour of the best bits, so you don't have to think. It is literally just the highlights from here and around the world. It's for us. It's a bit of a junket. We can't believe we're getting away with it. It's sort of like going to the Blue Mountains for an NRL State of Origin training camp. It's sort of it's just a junket.
Yeah, that's it. Turtleneck sweaters, sitting around the fire, eating the mold, drinking the mold wine.
Speaking of the Blue Mountains, Brandy, I know you're there. Just tell me this. So we've got whiskey bars, an ice skating rink, and a cinema. Is it a training camp or an episode of Farmer Wants a Wife? What are we doing?
Don't forget, Tim, the room of mirrors, which is a big highlight. Get lost in the mirror.
The room of mirrors.
Yeah, and oversized chess too. Oversized chess. Where the big chess pieces. Got every chess
piece. Do some of the players
got it all?
Do they know what chess is?
Well, yeah.
No,
Tim,
closet Queenslander here. On the show. We're doing jokes today about New South Wales, about Queensland people, but not to worry. Part of the vision you may want to explore this week is the Queenslanders without helmets riding bikes in the resort. Like I'm saying, perhaps a jail term. I think that's a 10-day jail sentence for all 17 players, personally, but I don't know what your thoughts are, Tim.
Do we bring back capital punishment, guys? Is that too harsh, or is that just about right? What do we think?
Well, I could be persuaded. I don't think that's a bad idea. Stocks, Taylor Square, Sydney. So
Tim, you watch a lot of the news footage and people commenting on whatever sport it is. Do you watch? What do you like to watch? Sport.
Big sport fan. Can't wait for Origin this week. That to me, that's the pinnacle of Australian rivalry. Love the F1 as well, and we even go down. Don't mind a bit of pickleball, NRL, AFL, tennis when we're winning, which we are at the moment. So really, anything to be honest, anything to get me away from actually watching the news.
Okay, so Formula One, the podcast, the Reserve Drivers podcast. See, I think by and large, Formula One's got a bit boring with the supreme form of Max Verstappen. Is it still exciting you?
It is a bit hard when the same team wins every single week. At the moment, there's a bit of resurgence. Max is struggling at the moment, and McLaren, which is Aussie Oscar Piastri's team, is on the up. So there is a real chance that Oscar might win a race this season. So that is one of the reasons to keep watching. And some good news for Australia overnight. There's there's a French team, essentially Renault that we would know it, and they've got rid of one of their drivers for next year. And an Aussie is the favourite to get that seat. That is Jack Doohan, of course, the son of the legendary MotoGP rider Mick Doohan.
Doohan. Wow.
And he's a real chance. He's done his time. He's been their sort of backup driver for a year. And the thinking is that they'll put him up, which would be fantastic. So that'd be 3 Aussies on the grid next year if Daniel Ricciardo keeps his seat, which is a big if.
Speaking of Daniel Ricciardo, I saw him at the UFC along with Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Does Donald get much of a run? I believe he's a bit of a sport fan, isn't he? Make sort of comment. Does he? Would that be someone that you'd take the PISS out of at any stage?
Surely not.
Well, it might get a mention tonight. I don't know if you know, there was a small little court case in the States, which we'll look at. But the thing about the cheap seat is we're not really interested in taking sides. It's all about how the media cover it, all the reporters standing out in front of it. And what I love about Australia is I was watching, I think it was 9 News in Sydney, in the same week that we had the Donald Trump case, the trial of the century, we also had a story about a Maserati driving banana thief. So that is what I love about the news, is that we get the big and the small here in Australia.
Yeah. Just on the text line too, the bike helmet story, very hard to believe because hard to find a bike helmet that fits 2 heads. Says Kiwi Chris. So thank you for that input into the discussion. Perfect origin sort of stuff. So the cheap seats tonight, Channel 10. Tim, you've done a wonderful job this morning, so early to be so bright and so on point. Thank you for lifting the level of our show.
Hey, boys, I'm glad you think it's me. It's actually James Tedesco. He's filling in for me this week. I've got a slight bit of quad soreness. So James has done a good job.
Yeah, well done. Okay,
well done, James.
JT, well
nice
done.
to talk to you.
Yeah, good talking to you, James. Cheap seats tonight on Channel 10. And if you want to check out that podcast too, the Reserve Drivers podcast, probably worth a listen. Comedic take on Formula One. Yes, you get some opinion, but also a bit of a laugh as well. So great. Very good at Tim. I do admire people who come on early in the program. I don't think I could. I know it sounds contradictory, but I don't think I'd want to do an interview on another show real early. It's not my go.
No, has anyone ever asked you to come on early? 6:30.
But we get a decent run up, so people need to know. Like, we're in before 5 o'clock for this show, so we get warmed up. But I don't think I want to be the alarm goes off and bang doing an interview. 2 minutes later.
Do you want to tell people how you warm up? Do you want to go through your warm up or?
Mate,
just leave that as a mystery.
Yeah. Well, just pack of Doritos, Coke Zero, mandarin to balance the diet.
Pain.
That's it. Yeah, sure. Charlie's given us the big wind. We better take a break. We're here for Bryden's Lawyers, best legal advice going. Thanks for making the switch to the home of sport, 1170 SEN.